This message is entitled, You Are More Than Just an Option. You are more than just an option. We were discussing in last message from Ezekiel 23, where there were two sisters who were pursuing just all the best looking men all around. I won't go into that, but just as a point of reference, Ezekiel 23, that was pretty much the whole chapter. And we'll talk about it now and probably in the next message too. So these two sisters, I guess they're just looking for the perfect guy, one that they've chosen of their own. And perhaps a lot of people are like that. A lot of women are like that. They believe they found the perfect guy, the perfect one that they've chosen. Or maybe he's chosen you and you're being convinced by him that he is the perfect guy. He's the perfect guy for you. So, but you're doting over him, you're making a big deal over him, but as time goes on, maybe quickly, maybe not even a long time into the quote unquote relationship, he's not really treating you that well. And he's not. He's wrong for you, but somehow you're still captivated by him and you're still chasing him. He's a chick magnet and he knows it. And he's treating you like you're an option. But you see, you're more than just an option because God has made you with purpose and destiny and beauty. And there's a certain glory that you reflect of God. You are not just an option. But there you are still chasing him. And just like all the other women that are just like you, chasing him. You need to know your worth. But maybe you've picked this guy because he looks good, he dresses well, he smells good. But if he's not saved, then he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, unsaved stuff. But woman of God, are you saved? So what are you doing with him? What communion does darkness have with the light? And how can two walk together except they be agreed? And you're saved. Okay. So what else does this guy have or represent besides looks? Besides the outward flesh stuff? What else? So in the way he's treating you, he's breadcrumbing you, he's gaslighting you, standing you up. Doesn't really take you anywhere, does he? He won't meet your family. He won't meet your friends, but you're still chasing him. What's up with that? Oh, it's because you think he's absolutely everything, huh? You think he's fantastic. Yeah. More of this in the messages Strange Fire and Altered Altars, also on this channel. But here you are chasing this guy and you're just doing the most. And he's doing the least. Or nothing at all. And he's doing this... He's doing very little, but there you are worshiping him and idolizing him. He's made himself into an altar. And you're the sacrifice. And you can get more of this in the Do No Harm series also on this channel. But he's made himself into an altar. He's an altar. And you're the sacrifice. So let's get this straight. So if he thinks, knows, or behaves as if he's like God's gift or the gift to the world, then he's an altar. He's an evil altar because you don't worship people and you don't expect to be worshiped. Jesus didn't do it that way. The angels of God even say you don't do that. See that you do it not. In the book of the Revelation, John was speaking with an angel, and John reports that he fell down at his feet to worship him. And the angel said unto him, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God. Don't do that. Instead, worship God. But man is easily distracted like that. When a man sees something shiny and new, beautiful, maybe powerful, I don't know, different, he or she may try to worship that thing, but the angel knew that no one should touch or try to touch God's glory. Our worship is God's glory. But speaking of evil altars, the devil wants God's glory, and the devil wants and will try to pervert and try to draw off God's glory wherever he can, because he wants it for himself. So we have to be wise and discerning always. So there's this perfect man that you selected. He's shiny and beautiful. He's handsome. He's everything you think that you want in a man, but he's an evil altar, because he's not supposed to be an altar at all. And your worship of him constitutes sacrifice of yourself. Worship is a sacrifice. And this man is receiving worship that should be to God. Only a deranged person, like an unsaved narcissist, would dare to touch God's worship, God's glory on purpose. Do you remember in the Old Testament, 1 Chronicles 11, God struck down Uzzah for touching the Ark of the Covenant, which was considered God's glory. God's not playing about this. And this attention and sacrifice and worship that you're throwing this man's way should never be given to any person. No one, no man, because worship belongs to God. All of this is strange fire. And you say you're saved? Well, judgment begins in the house of God. And God will judge you first, saved woman of God. And that guy, his fate may have already been sealed. He may have already let the devil convince him that there's no devil. He may have already let the devil convince him that you only live once and no one will know. It won't hurt anybody. We're consenting adults. But what about your bloodline? Maybe the devil's convinced him too that his bloodline, his kids won't suffer from the stuff that he does, that it only affects him alone, and no one else. Maybe this man has a seared conscience, or God has already given him over to a reprobate mind. So this fellow, at first he does want you. He love bombs you, and then suddenly he changes up. And at first, when he was love bombing you, you were all that mattered. And when he was simulating a relationship, you were the most important everything in his life. Simulating a relationship. But now he's treating you like an option. But you're more than just an option. But he's put you in a category. He must have binders full of women. Anyway, he's labeled you, but not in a good way. And your relationship doesn't have a title or a name or a label, but you do. Bet you didn't know he's planning to categorize you, did he? Did you? A man who would never himself want to be labeled or categorized might behave like he can just collect women, in binders full of them, like watches. Casual, dressy, gold, diamond, plastic, mechanical, quartz, chronographs, the woman with lots of dials and buttons to push. Or maybe he can collect you like tennis shoes, casual, dressy, comfortable, out on the town, stay at home. You see, in most societies, women are taught to be good girls, and men are told to play the field. So in the absence, if there's no godly man in his life, no real father figure, godly father figure, then he's just doing what he's been told or taught. He's playing the field, and he has no conscience about it because he's been given permission by older males, other males, and people who should have been father figures to play the field. So he's gotten with you now, and he's done the deed with you. You've done the act. And now he's wondering, since he's got all this permission to just be free and roam about the earth and kill and destroy and steal, basically working for the devil. But he's wondering, why is she acting like that now? And that man may be asking, why do women act like this? Just because we do this deed? Well, man, I'll answer for you. She's acting like that because you two just made a covenant. And she's got sense enough to know it even if you don't, or if you want to pretend that you don't know it. So here's what's happening, man. When you're out playing the field, the field that you allegedly have permission to roam about in and do whatever you want in. When you're playing the field, let's say you're on a baseball field and you're playing baseball. You hit the ball intending to at least get to first base, but the shortstop misses the ball and you get to second base. But then the outfielder overthrows the ball to second, so you run to third base. Then the first baseman or the pitcher chases the ball into the fence, so you run home. And all of those potential stops out on that field didn't stop you. You didn't even think you were going to get a home run, but you did. So now you feel lucky. Now, man, because you've scored. And now you've made a covenant with the person, a real person. You got a home run with that person. And that's why she's acting like that. She's got sense enough to know you two have made a covenant. So, men, if you don't want to deal with covenants, don't make any. What, are you going to tell the coach, the umpire, the team that you didn't score when you know you did? She knows you did too. You can't trick her. You can't gaslight her out of this one. You can't act like you didn't. You made a covenant. That's a covenant. Yeah, but you might be arguing that you did it accidentally because her guards were down, at shortstop, second base, third base, home plate, and the outfield didn't or couldn't stop the ball or throw it right. I mean, you got all the way back to home plate. And you did. But you made a choice to do that. And you may proclaim that you didn't make her do it, and she may say the same about you. But you two still made a covenant. So now what? Sex is a common and really the most common and probably the biggest way to make a covenant. And this man, he wanted the act of the covenant, but he didn't want a covenant or the results of the covenant. This makes no sense because wet comes with water. But here you are, woman, looking at another demonic transactional person, wondering what's wrong with them, because God is relational and you're saved, right? You see, the beauty of God and being godly is to not do anything that you'll regret or be ashamed of tomorrow. And this way you can be relational. You can stay relational and not be like a hit and run transactional person. So if you don't want to be in a covenant, then don't make any covenants. So a man may think that now the way to get out of this is to just walk away. Just because you walk away from something or you change zip codes doesn't simply break the covenant. Because the covenant is not just natural, it is spiritual. And that covenant is still in effect unless and until you break it spiritually. A covenant is an agreement. And there are other kinds of agreements too. You could nod your head and make an agreement. Shake hands, make an agreement. Signatures, make an agreement. Other types of agreements, confirmations. You could go out to dinner, and that's an agreement. Eating food together, sometimes drinking together. Those are agreements. Those equal covenants. What do you think happened to the Native Americans at Plymouth Rock or wherever they were in Massachusetts, right? We call it Thanksgiving now, but Native Americans, maybe they were there to say thanks for the dinner, but they weren't even realizing that they were giving anything. Well, at least giving the opportunity to be slaughtered and have it taken away from them. Evil altar centered around a dinner table. Jezebel, she entertained prophets at her dinner table. Bad covenants, whole unholy alliances, evil altars. But this covenant that you just made with this fella, it's not holy. It can't. He's an evil altar. But it's not holy because God's not in it. It can't. If God's not in it, it can't be holy. And if it's not holy, God's not in it. So if God's not in it, the devil is in it. Because devil covenants are the default. Unless we put God into our life, the devil is the prince of this world. It'll just automatically include the devil. And devil covenants are or include soul ties. You see, you are a spirit being. I go into this a lot. You know I do. You are spiritual. And so whether you know it or you act like it or not, everything you do is spiritual. Everything you do and say means something. And it changes something in the world. It changes something in the spirit. You are powerful. You are a powerful being. So don't you want to use your power to good? Or you just want to let it default to evil? Every day, all day, you decide things. Every day, all day, you trade or you barter things or you agree or disagree with things. All day, every day, and guess what? All night, too. So 24/7, all of your life, you're not in neutral. You are impacting the world. You're impacting the natural world and or the spirit world. You are a powerful being. So just because you say now that you weren't aware of it, doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that nothing happened, because I've said before, something is always happening. But it doesn't mean that nothing happened because you were clueless that day or unaware or ignorant or asleep or you just didn't know. So now here's this fantastic guy. He wants out. He wants out of this covenant, but he wants out naturally. He thinks it's easy. You just walk away. But spiritually, until you both, and definitely him, until he repents, renounces, and then resists the devil, that covenant is still in effect. But still, if he's walking away in the natural, feels like he's rejecting you, his demons could have gotten another assignment by now. Listen to what I'm saying. His demons could have gotten everything that they want out of you already. And now those demons are requesting, the demons from his evil altar, they are requesting a new sacrifice, a different sacrifice, a fresh one. Not that you're stale, but you've been had already. Or there could be other reasons why he wants to walk away. Maybe he's just not mature and he doesn't want to handle covenant. But let's explore for a minute that he's looking for a new sacrifice. You see, a narcissist, a man who is an altar, he's got to be a narcissist, right? A narcissist will always seek and groom and, if possible and necessary, return to and rotate his supply. But sometimes a new sacrifice may be demanded by the evil altar within him, because the altar is a place of sacrifice, but it is a place that also demands sacrifice. So why do I say looking for a new sacrifice? Because you see, a man who's just dating around with no really righteous intentions toward a woman is only planning to sacrifice her. He's only planning to sacrifice her body, her time, her reputation, her beauty, her youth, take advantage of her, sacrifice her money, her resources, and then he's on to the next one. That's a sacrifice. That's how you become the sacrifice. If he's not pouring anything in a positive, godly way into your life and making it into a relationship, being relational, then you're a sacrifice. You're transactional. It's a transaction. So when you see this fella out and about with somebody new, don't take it personally. It's all spiritual. It really is spiritual. And you say, even though he's not saved and he doesn't talk about God, he really doesn't talk about anything other than himself, it's still spiritual. He's being directed and possibly even controlled by the not God side of things. The not God side of things. So you need to stay out of your feelings. Don't go into the flesh. Get out of your head about this, about whoever he's with now, because it was not going to be a relationship. If it were, he'd still be there. And regarding that new person, that new sacrifice of his, maybe you should be praying for her, because she's going to go through what you went through with him. or something worse. You see, because as time goes on, the demons get worse. They ask for greater sacrifices, more sacrifices, and then the man's behavior gets worse unless he repents, renounces, and begins to resist the devil and get saved. Not in that order. Repent and get saved first. So to get over this relationship, or whatever this was, this transactional ship, this situationship, stop romanticizing the quote unquote good parts of the relationship. The whole relationship was the relationship, not just the parts that you think were good and the parts you liked. The whole relationship, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that was the relationship. Plus, this guy was probably play acting anyway. So is that what you want? A fake guy who's pretending? But it's not real. He's not consistent, and he's not enough. But guess what? You are. You are enough. You are more than an option. You are made by God. You have purpose and you have destiny. And there is a relationship, a proper interpersonal relationship for you. And there's family, there's friends, there's a whole group of people that are for you. And now you have to repent. Repent of having worshiped at that evil altar. But you know, when an evil altar doesn't even want you anymore, when an evil altar has gotten everything from you that it can, and you've prayed and been delivered, maybe that's why it doesn't want you anymore, because you are saved and delivered and they can't get anything else from you. Or maybe you are all used up and the altar has already gotten everything from you now and is calling for a new sacrifice. But we should all be worshiping at God's altar. We should all worship God. We worship God, Jesus, a person we believe can help us, love us, keep us, comfort us, save us, give us a future, give us a destiny, and give us a rightful life, a rightful place in life. We worship, get this, we worship at an altar because we want what comes out of that altar. We worship at an altar because we want what comes out of that altar. And in the case of God, we worship in God's holy mountain. We worship at his righteous altar. We worship at the feet of Jesus because we want to be blessed. We need to be blessed. We want the blessings of God in our life and in our careers, in our marriage, in our family, in our home, in our children. But if we're dissing God and by default or on purpose worshiping at an evil altar, then guess what? We're going to get what comes out of that altar, out of that evil altar. And what do you think comes out of an evil altar? Yeah, evil and curses. Let's talk for just a few more minutes as we close. God says in Deuteronomy chapter 28, I will not read that whole entire chapter, but we do like to pull the blessings out. I'm one who will quote those blessings a lot. But looking at the curses, I'm going to just summarize them up to a few bullet points for you. God says that if you hearken and obediently listen to the voice of God and diligently keep all of his commandments and guidelines, then you will be blessed. But if you do the opposite, all the curses will come down hard on you. I'm getting these out of the Message Bible because I wanted to make them as straightforward as possible. All the curses will come down hard on you. And the first 6, 7 things basically sum up to the first set of curses is your money. Your money will be cursed. Your work, your possessions. And it doesn't matter if you're coming or going. You might not even know if you're coming or going. The way things are going to be so jacked up if you're living under curses for having worshiped or continuing to worship at evil altars. And God further sends the curse. There will be confusion. There will be contrariness. You know, the opposite of what you want to happen will be happening. Until it's over for you, until there's full destruction. God's not playing. Then there will be diseases. Well, I guess you'll get destroyed after the diseases, not before. But diseases, I mean, the Message Bible outlines things like the consumption and fever and rash and seizures and dehydration and blight and jaundice, and your prayers won't be answered. Now, having your relationship severed with God, that's about the worst thing ever. That's what Jesus was lamenting so much about before going to the cross. That was the death for him. Losing connection with God. How will you live? We don't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. We need to hear what is proceeding out of the mouth of God so we can live and not die. But the curses include that your protection is going to be gone, and you'll be opened up to the enemy. And you already know what the enemy wants to do to you: steal, kill, and destroy. But the Message Bible indicates words like suffocate and attack. And then some of the other curses are boils and hemorrhoids, scabs, incurable itch. People go crazy and blind, and they become senile. They get abused and robbed. And no one's going to help you. Look at this. This even gets deeper. It says your woman is going to cheat on you. You won't enjoy your money. You won't enjoy your house, your kids, or your family because of the curses. It is not worth it to bow at an evil altar. I don't care how good looking the man is. I don't care what it is you think you want to accomplish. Don't go to evil altars. Some of the other curses are working like crazy, working crazy hard with little to no results. Nothing to show for it. And try all you want. This is from not keeping God's commandments. It says life will be famine and drought, rags, wretchedness. And then you'll get in an iron yoke until you're destroyed. But it doesn't all happen tomorrow. It doesn't all happen immediately. That's why some people detach from the thing that they did, that they didn't repent for, to when the curses actually show up, and they never put it together. And they never put it together in order to repent, to make it stop. They just keep wondering, what in the world happened? I'm clueless. I forgot that I did bad in 19, whatever year that was. Okay, 20, whatever year that was. So listen, when you see families not enjoying each other and turning on each other, they're under a curse. They're under the curse. Is it something that was done recently, or was it something down the bloodline? You better repent. Repent for all of it. It can't hurt you. Renounce and resist the devil, and he'll flee from you. And even the kindest, nicest people, the Message Bible says the most gentle and caring man among you will turn on his own brother. Family members, wives, and children will turn on each other. They'll consume each other. And they'll lose everything, including, listen to this word, including their humanity. We're going to talk about that more in another message. I just know we are. Well, they lose their humanity. And that's as good as the devil wants it. Because if you lose your humanity and your kindness toward others, you forget you're even a human. You lose your identity. You don't know who you are. You're not working with your whole soul. You're ineffective in the earth. You can't put angels to flight. Your prayers aren't answered. You're jacked up. But we need to be at God's altar, worshiping God. And we are more than an option. And the more you worship God, the more you'll know that. And the more adorned and beautified you will be. So when your right relationship comes along, your real spouse, you're ready. And God anoints it and he'll bless it. But we need to be living in awe before God, because he is righteous, he is glorious, but he's terrible. Don't play with him. You know, I want you to see the prayers in the other altar series, because they would help to seal this message tonight. And they are on this channel, as I've said before. God bless you.